Okay, this is a perfect circle cruise control unit out of a 1963 Cadillac. This invention was created by Ralph Teeter, who's a blind man who was unhappy with how his chauffeur drove him around. So he invented cruise control, an accessory that many of us are aware of these days and use. This is completely electromechanical. There's a governor in there with those weights. The input shaft to this governor is from the transmission speedometer cable. As it spins, the weights swing out. Connected to it inside there is another gear which goes to your speedometer. So you have a speedometer reading. There's a DC motor, bidirectional, and over here is our throttle linkage, contact points, and if right now this is engaged, so I will disengage this first and we'll show you what happens. So right now, as you can see, this is what we call our lock-in relay. The throttle is not connected to the cruise control at all right now. What happens is, if you reach the predetermined set speed, so if I set the car to 20 miles an hour or 25 miles an hour, this spring is down deep. When it's I'm sorry, not it's down deep, it's out all the way like this. As it's out all the way, these weights will have a tendency to swing out quickly. Once they do, this will start to advance. If I then push the throttle up against here and hit the lock button at the same time, it will engage. So I'm going to just lock this. So I have to ground the lock terminal. Let's see if I can do this with my hand. Okay, so now that's locked in. A momentary grounding of that terminal locks it in, so that's from your dash controller's a lock-in button. Now this is engaged. At the low speed setting, the car automatically has the throttle open right now because it wants to get the car to that speed. As soon as it reaches that speed, the weights will have a tendency to swing out. When the weights swing out, it moves this contact lever up to a higher position, which closes the throttle. We will close the throttle all the way. If I increase the speed setting by pushing down on that spring, it will then want me to have the throttle open again. So we'll go this way. So basically, as the cruise control is engaged, this throttle just keeps opening and closing like this as I'm moving the weights back and forth. Alright, and that's basically the principle of how this thing works. And it just does this very rapidly. To disengage the cruise control, if I momentarily release the 12 volts from that terminal, which is through the brake switch, you'll see the cutting relay disengage. So now the cruise control is off. As soon as you let your foot off the brake, the circuit is re-energized and is ready to engage again.